Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, depending on where we're reaching delegates joining us today. My name is Matthew Rogerson. I'm the editor for Packaging Today, and it gives me enormous pleasure to be able to introduce this webinar that we're running today. That is Tetrapak talking with their technology creative studio partner, Appetite Creative. The discussion for today is looking at the relationship on connected packaging, looking at how data is collected in a GDPR compliant way, and how it informs marketing messages and new product development. The speakers for today's session are going to be Juan Camilo Consoni, who's the Marketing Services Director for Europe and Central Asia at Tetrapak. He'll be joined by Susie McKinley, who's Marketing Manager at Tetrapak for Mid-Europe. And they will be joined also by Jenny Stanley, who's the Managing Director for Appetite Creative. And that leads me to my initial question to Juan, which is if it's possible to explain why you decided to adopt connected packaging. What was the draw to you?
Well, first of all, very glad to be here and thanks for inviting us. I think we decided to share this piece of a video, and we will not bore you with too much information today, but this is just an example, no, on how we see digitalization is shaping our everyday life, no, and how we normally, let's say, establish and open the dialogue with our customers on this topic, just as an example, no. Digitalization is something that is transforming the way we live, the way we consume, the way we work. I mean, it's all across. Many industries have been transformed by this. We know what has happened with transport or with travel, with services, entertainment. And I think FMCG is slowly, but surely, let's say, becoming part of this transformation. No? And we see that packaging plays an important role in helping this transformation to happen, no? By connecting, let's say, manufacturers to their consumers, but also the industry all across, let's say, helping to bring more transparency or efficiency at all the value chain, no? So in other words, let's say we are, as a company, evolving from being an integrated supplier of processing packaging solutions, now adding the possibility for all of this to be connected with real-time information, no? And I think this became something so important and so evident that today digitalization is one of our 4 strategic pillars, no? So we have sustainability, in which we're very active. We have also quality and food protection that it has been since our DNA started, and we have innovation, and now we have also digitalization, no? So I think coming back to the question, this is why we understood we needed to be an active part of this change in the industry and help, let's say, to integrate this into our value proposal, no? And this is the journey that we're going through right now, basically.
Yeah, maybe just to simply build on that, I think the simple reason why is that the future for us is digital in all aspects. So you saw from the video that digital technologies are changing all the consumption moments and all the purchasing habits that consumers have and the information exchange, not just for the food and beverage industry. And even if we look at the last year, we've seen a rapid increase in screen time, people being stuck at home, so they needed to have some sort of entertainment at home. They've looked for more digital consumer engagement, that connection peer-to-peer that they could have, and also the growth in e-commerce. Of course, we can't excuse that either. So because of the last year, traditional marketing activities and channels have really been impacted. And digital consumer engagement moments here have really the opportunity to pick up these missing consumption moments. And so for us at Tetra Pak, we see the connected packaging platform as really a door opener for brands to step into an online world via a physical object. And here it's the beverage carton. And basically, we're seeing new demands from consumers. They're looking for more relevant experiences. They're looking for interactions from brands. Even from our global consumer research, we see that 40% of consumers today, they want to buy from channels and brands that cater to their preferences, engage them one-on-one. And this is really where we saw the opportunity to create a platform where the beverage carton can really act as a kind of direct media vehicle that could be interacted by consumers in store, point of sale, in their home, in the car, or at home. And basically, it's going to allow consumers to interact further with brands, to access a wealth of information, to know a little bit more about the product provenance, even environmental information, or other value-adding content that's possible. But even just beyond kind of consumers, we see that this is an opportunity for the digital door to open for manufacturers, and a way for them to even work more efficiently and have some improvements along the value chain. So not only is it going to be consumer engagement and consumer understanding, there's also future opportunities along the value chain in terms of monitoring or transparency, and think of quality control or food safety, which is such a big aspect since COVID-19, and then even on waste reduction, sustainability, and circularity. So these are just to name a few of the opportunities that we saw, or were white spaces in the market, but all opportunities where we see really the connected packaging can deliver some solutions in the market.
Yeah, just picking up on that. I mean, Juan and Susie talked about it. We know that COVID has really pushed digital into people's priority list that maybe it wasn't there before. I mean, literally 10 years jumped forward in terms of digital transformation, and we've been seeing changes right across the landscape, connected experiences in general. So gamification of ads, being able to look at outdoor. There's been a massive focus on direct mail, where through our partnership with the Royal Mail, we've been seeing a huge increase of obviously connecting with those people, as Juan said, we're stuck in their homes. So I think that packaging has perhaps not really had that opportunity. And now I think with the extra focus, it really is now that opportunity to access this direct gateway to the consumer. These products are in the consumer's hands. So it's a really great change that we've been seeing across the landscape, not just in packaging.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. And I guess that leads us to our second question, which is, how has connected packaging changed your approach both to product development but also to marketing?
Well, I think if we look back in time, we have been working, let's say, over digitalization probably the last decade, in the sense of the technology, because in all of the touch points we have with our customers, what we have been doing is integrating the production lines for, let's say, quality and industrial purposes, with creating integrated solutions, for example, like one that we have that is Tetrapak Master, that it's something that allows you to run and integrate or either an entire production line or even an entire factory with information in real time. So this is something in which we have prepared, let's say, our technology to be ready to host this looking into the future. Now, what we're starting to integrate is the individual packages identity. How does this fit into this scenario of an integrated technology? And I think this is where the change will start to happen even more. In the case of consumer engagement, I would say that we have been actively working over the last, I would say, 3 years. But I think what really has happened is that this pandemic situation has really accelerating this digital migration and interest from the market over the last year and a half, especially. And I think, in fact, this became a standard feature, let's say, of our way of working in marketing services, helping really to prepare our customers for these future needs or to embrace these digital challenges with the integration of packaging as a very good tool to do it, to make it happen. And let's say, traditionally, Tetrapak has been or has always hosted a lot of capabilities around category understanding, category knowledge, and product innovation. But I think now, coming back to the point on how this has changed, we have been preparing ourselves in breaking this barrier and really become more savvy, let's say, in digital environment, And of course, we're wanting to take this together with the FMCG brands. In fact, we have integrated into our team specialists coming from other industries with a great digital footprint, to help us to design the products and the solutions to really be able to deliver in a much more consistent way from the learnings outside of our organization. And I think, just as a recap, and to give you an example, we have completed over the last year already 12 projects only in Europe with digital interaction together with our customers. And I think this is why we are seeing that this is taking traction. And this is why we are now working, let's say, as a fully integrated part of our portfolio to really help our customers to complement and to improve their strategy.
Yeah, and I think even for me in my day-to-day life of marketing with the customers, it's really about seeing connected package as a integral part of marketing campaigns today. So it's going to really continue to play a key role when it comes to defining the 360-degree approach of engaging with consumers. So like Juan mentioned, we're really trying to facilitate this connected platform when we're thinking about consumer engagement solutions, when we're co-creating these ideas with our customers and trying to prototype what would be the right hook in terms of using the connected platform to engage with end consumers. And really we kind of start by trying to listen to our customer strategy and to the pain points, and really kind of identify how we could build a digital brand strategy together. And then we try to map out the consumer journey, the potential touch points, and really understand where a connected package can add values to the brand's interaction with consumers. And then it's all about really kind of understanding the real-time data here and trying to deliver on value-added insights, measure the success of the campaign, and then really try to make it as active part of a day-to-day communication that we can with the brands to the end users. And obviously kind of now working with this as part of our co-creation approach, it also impacted how we try to position the opportunity of connected package for food and beverage manufacturers. So since connected package here in this industry is still relatively new compared to some other industries, we also needed to adapt a little bit on terms of how we built the proposition. So we needed to develop sales tools. We needed to create the video that you saw or demo web apps to kind of really easily explain the gap in the market and to highlight the kind of benefits and the application of using connected pack. And then finally, I think that the main change that we've really seen is working within an ecosystem and leveraging expertise from different players in a kind of agile way. So obviously, for us, we've built the Tetrapak connected platform. It's a combination of hardware and softwares, and it's a way to reach the market quickly. And basically, it's all about generating and printing these unique codes, having a developer portal, having a dashboard for campaign management. But then we also have to leverage our food and beverage industry with then creative digital partners like Appetite Creative, who can then help us to bring these kind of engaging consumer experiences to life. And even here, exploring augmented reality solutions as a new way to really help brands engage with consumers. And then, you know, our expertise that we leverage here is that we've designed it specifically for the food and beverage industry. We understand milk, we understand, you know, products on the shelf, and we try to make something that can be scalable, that can be active in different markets, and something that can be applied in a very short amount of time. And then, you know, obviously just in the future, we're going to continue to try to go a little bit beyond this consumer engagement part and really look at how we can add value across all the stakeholders in the value chain. So even from logistics to even recycling, these are all, you know, opportunities that will continue to adapt how we look into product development for Connected Pack in the future.
Yeah, I think that, Susie, you touched on a great point there. You know food and you know drink and you know beverage and you understand your clients, and I think that's why the partnership works really well, because of course it allows us to really combine our strengths. You guys obviously understand the client and their objectives, and we understand gamification and how to really align the correct experience with the goals of the client. So it might be that it's gamification, but it might be around data collection, or it might be around engagement time. It could be awareness of a new product or a new flavor that's launching, or perhaps awareness of a particular brand standing on a sustainability subject or something like that. And I think that's why it works so well, because we've got the ability to be able to kind of bring those two knowledge bases together and really understand what is the best type of mechanism for the experience. Like you say, it could be AR, it could be a quiz, it might be something around gamification, but it's being able to bring those pieces together, I think, understand consumer behavior from our side, but understand obviously the brand, their objectives, and what they need to deliver as well. That together, I think, gives us the ability to be able to create fantastic experiences and deliver success for our clients.
I guess the follow-on question to that one, in which case, because thank you, first of all, thank you very much, because this is all incredibly both enlightening and very exciting information to have. What would you say are some of the key benefits, and have there been any challenges that you've had to overcome as you've been developing this?
Well, I think there are many benefits. No, we are on one side, we're unlocking new opportunities for customers and consumers to get more value from the packages than ever before. So this just by itself is a benefit. No, it's no longer just talking about product protection or functionality or differentiation only, but it's also about connectivity, which is something that you as a brand owner or a customer, of course, is something that is very important for you, and the package can help you to do that. No, but if I may, let's say, summarize basically two big benefits. No? One is connected package can help you to connect to your consumers at an even individual level almost, because you can target the audiences and really make something that is extremely target, so you can optimize that into the level that you want, and it's basically to solve your needs, your challenges. So that is one aspect, no, connection. But I think the other one, and it follows all of what Susie started to mention and Jenny, is the layer of additional information that you get that help you to better profile your target, to obtain, let's say, valuable insights that ultimately will help you to take decisions to drive your business. And this is something that we see that is the reason why most of the customers are interested in repeating this experience, until the point that what we dream about or believe that it will happen is that customers will start to be like always on, no, believing and seeing the value that they generate in this additional level of information. No?
Yeah, exactly. If we kind of look at the modern day consumer and even think about ourselves when we're in the stores, we're the most well-educated buyers that we've ever seen in the market. We're very vocal. We have access to a ton of information, and more information than ever before. And really what the consumer engagement via the Connected Pack can deliver is building trust, is building a little bit of affinity. It also means that brands can then connect with potential buyers pre and post purchase and create ways for them to really build highly engaging content and really differentiate versus the competition in the store. And in today's busy, digital space, this is really essential to have this kind of one-on-one connection and to really engage with consumers further. But kind of beyond a little bit of just the pure engagement and the one-on-one, I think it's also what Jenny touched on earlier, is kind of, you have to identify the problem that you want Connected Package to address. Are you looking to measure and increase the time that's spent with your brand? Or are you looking for an uplift in sales? Or are you simply helping consumers to understand a little bit more about your brand essence or new products? And all of these kind of questions can really be addressed and measured by the Connected Pack platform. So here we've seen benefits, and through our different projects that we've run in the last couple of years, we've experienced boosting sales and increased volume through engaging interactive campaigns. We've been able to understand consumers looking at new product information. Would they be willing to use digital coupons? Are we able to even cross-sell to other brands through one kind of engaging platform as well? And what we've also seen is that we've been able to kind of showcase brands as digital forerunners. So they've really been able to showcase that they're young, they're invigorating, they're willing to listen and engage with their end consumers. And then, of course, then it's really about getting this actionable real-time insights to make them more successful. So you're able to say, okay, my consumer persona is this type of person. This is their likes, this is their desires. And I'm able to then really make something that's much more personalized to them. And this is kind of done through a two-way feedback loop. So, we're encouraging brands to give information, but to also open it up to get information back from consumers, so that eventually we can start to really have very precise, targeted and adjustable campaigns, so that brands can really, work with their return on investment when it comes to consumer engagement. And then just, I think kind of for us, we've reached an internal milestone. So we have 1 billion unique codes that have already been activated in different markets. And this is a number for us that also shows that we've moved beyond just an idea, but really to kind of executing this at scale. And we expect that we want to continue on this journey. We want to make consumer engagement via the Connected Package the kind of reference when it comes to beverage cartons in the next couple of years.
You also mentioned, Matthew, about challenges, right? So I think, challenges is like every time we face new things, there are many challenges, no? So I think the point here is not to lose the sight, no? The long-term view. Where do we think and see that the market will go, no? And if we see probably consumers in these days, it will be clear that most of them are not expecting that you get, I don't know, an augmented reality experience from your juice, or that you don't get invited to do a poll to answer what it will be the flavor that your flavored milk will need to develop for the future, or your milk carton, I don't know, your milk carton to explain you that is made from these renewable materials, or that it has been sourced, the milk from a specific place in a region, and it has a certification of animal welfare and this type of thing. This is something that still, if we see, is not expected as an everyday thing from the brands and the products. So this is something in which we are creating and accompanying the industry in that journey. No, in the very same way, not all of the customers are aware of this possibility. So we need to show and let's say be voicing over the opportunity and proof that this has a return, the value of that information, the, let's say, incremental growth that they could benefit from doing certain things, but to prove that this is something there. So I would say that depending on the market, or depending on the category, or depending even on the brand, the adoptions follows a different trend, no? And we are continuously engaging all across our customers in order to demonstrate that this is the potential happen. But the answers, they depend on the reality of each of the categories, no? So we need to, the difference are, let's say, very different, no? In some categories or some specific areas, you see that animal welfare, for instance, is something that it's very present now in the discussion, or clean labeling, or less sugar or natural ingredients, or simply that, I don't know, many categories we see that they're being consumed less and less every year, and you as a brand maybe just need to reconnect to your target audience and refresh your positioning and talk about your benefits. So we need to be able to understand which are the strategic needs from our customers in order to show and try to adapt our solution to really satisfy that. And the part of the challenge for me comes that will probably be that not all of the customers have the idea on utilizing digitalization to overcome these challenges. So we need to be very agile in that sense, in trying to listen carefully to understand the needs and try to adapt as much as possible these solutions so they see initially what it will be the potential on that, no? And I would say, if we compare this situation with 2 years ago, the situation is very different, because now we see that not only customers but consumers in general have, let's say, started to adopt the scanning rates very much often due to the pandemic situation, and of course start to consume online a lot compared to the previous year. So this is kind of creating a good momentum for having these discussions together with the customers.
I think it's a huge wave of change, because you say 2 years ago, Juan, maybe even 2 years ago, not all smartphones had the ability to read a QR code immediately. Now, all of our phones, whether it be Android or whether it be iOS, Apple, you know, all you have to do is open up the camera, go to take a picture, and of course it leads you to where the QR code is pointed. So there's been a technology change, which I think has really opened up the market. And then, of course, as you say, Juan, the COVID situation, you know, track and trace, menus in bars and restaurants are now activated by a QR code, because we don't want to have pieces of paper, agendas, you know, conference lists and all these things. Conferences are happening, just not in the UK. All of these different things are now activated by QR codes. Social media, if you want to follow someone, you can now just follow them by scanning a QR code. So I think there's been a huge change, both in technology, in society, and of course the pandemic, which we talked a lot about in terms of pushing digital, is overcoming the challenge, which would have been knowledge. As Juan said, you don't expect immediately that your milk is going to tell you a story. So I think with anything new, there has to be an adoption of customers and consumers being able to understand that they can do that. The great thing is technology is helping us to push through that barrier. And now I think it's just around education, around the brands as well, helping brands to understand that this opportunity is there, that actually what might have been, you know, again, 2 years ago, you might have said, oh, the QR code is dead. Yeah, it's been rebirthed. So it's now got its new life. And I think it's just educating around that piece about how much more easy it is, you know, 1 billion QR codes from Tetrapak, huge numbers, and scan rates are much better than that of digital marketing. So again, it's definitely a challenge, because with anything new, it's around education. But I think so many things, as I say, technology and society is getting us there. And the benefits obviously is being able to be more customer centric, and I think both Susie and Juan talked a lot about that, so I won't repeat any of those things, but I just think a lot of the challenges, you know, time is actually helping us to move these things forward and push things back into the vernacular, being able to scan things that we couldn't before.
That's very true. You reminded me of, I think it was probably Drupal, one of the conferences in 2017, when they were starting off with the codes, and they had them all on the seats, and we all came in and they said, scan the code to sort of take you to the website or whatever it was supposed to be doing. And I think it was like a 40% fail rate or 50% fail rate. So even if you had the right phone and the right technology, it wasn't working. And flash forward to now, where you can almost go quite quickly over the code, and it will pick it up much more instantly, no matter what phone you're using to do that, which makes a huge difference.
Yeah, before you had to download an app as well.
Yeah.
You know, there's no downloading. This is just open your phone, go to take a picture, and off you go.
Exactly.
So much simpler story.
So it's intuitive, and so you don't have to train people in how to use the technology. They can just use it, which is a massive difference and support. I guess the follow-on question, in which case to those ones, would be where or how does the data fit into the bigger picture?
Yeah, and you know, data is the question everybody wants to know about and asks about all the time. And I would actually kind of take a step back and really start with the bigger picture here, that any digital solution should only exist if it's going to really help people and or machines also to make better decisions. And this can only happen through, you know, reliable information and insights that can be created from data. So, you know, when we talk about data, it's not just about what can be collected, it's really about turning that into then valuable insights, and really then how to understand and use that information in the right way. And what we've created is then to make sure that each package then is basically a data carrier, and that it can then go and gather data in a real time at a very item level data entry point. It can look into different interactions that happen, and then basically what we can work with our brands and our customers is then how to fuel that data into valuable insights. And here is then where you can make data the currency of the connected package. So without that, it's just data, it's just information. And what we really do is then try to make that into something that can be useful for the growth going forward. Of course, all campaigns are opt-in, so we're very GDPR compliant for this, and all information is managed in a very safe and secure manner. And nothing is transferred on those sort of things, but of course we have to comply by the regulations, which are completely right to be in place. We thought a lot about this question and tried to think about how really to show the value of the data. And we thought probably the easiest way was just to give a little flash of our demo dashboard, and just kind of to show how we try to look into data, but more how we try to derive value from it a little bit. So just kind of, yeah, what you see here on the first slide is just, this is the top of the demo dashboard. This is just to show that it's a one-stop platform where then you can integrate different data sources, so you can really try to manage your campaign in a real-time but very visual type of way. And then so if we kind of go off on the first tab, or the KPIs, project KPIs that we call it, and basically this is just to help you ask the question, is your campaign going well? Is it succeeding based on the kind of key performance indicators that were agreed at the beginning of the phase? So again, you will hear me say this again and again, but it's really about what do you want to achieve with the connected package? Is it about building awareness? Is it about building engagement? And basically we can help you understand what are the right set of indicators to try to track. And then here you would be able to see in a very easy real-time visual way how successful or far off your campaign was going. So for example, if you were going to focus on brand awareness, we would suggest to showcase indicators here like number of scans or social media traffic or completion of the journey. Whereas if you were kind of really more focused on brand engagement, then we would suggest indicators like average engagement time spent with the brand. So each dashboard, of course, could be customized and it needs to be integrated with other data sources like your Google Analytics or your social media activity. But basically, it can give you just a very visual way to say, am I on track, or do I need to change something to help me reach my end goal? And the second tab is then what we would call the package distribution, and here again is really where we come in with our expertise in the food and beverage and the packaging part. And this is really more about where is the product in the package once it's left the factory. And this can help to give brands and manufacturers a real-time indication of where the packages are being engaged with the most. Is it in a certain city? Is it in a certain region? How many registered users are there versus those that try to scan? Are they coming in from the connected pack, or are they coming via your social media channels? And this is basically a way to really see how people are interacting with the product that is in their hand. Again, giving you some direction and some touch points of data to say, okay, do I need to do more? Do I need to do a social media video to show consumers that it's as easy to open up their phone and scan the pack to interact? Or do I need to explain to them that there's a certain promotion on this week that they can get if they scan the package? So again, it's really about looking and understanding the data, visualizing it in a simple way, but then really knowing how to work with that information. Then we go to the next tab, and of course this is the strong point for brands to really know who their consumer are. So this is about those that are buying, scanning, interacting with your product. And here then you can really understand, discover and master then what are your consumers' behaviors. Are you really looking at more men or female? Are you sure that you're targeting the right age group? And here then also you can start to ask yourself the questions, how can I optimize my campaign results? How can I utilize my marketing budget in the most effective way? If I start to see that it's more men that are scanning the product, but I thought that my consumer profile was more females at a certain age, then I need to do some reactive marketing activities to try to gain back this consumer persona, or understand more why men are engaging with your brand. So it really helps you to then kind of finally target and adjust your marketing campaign in real time. And then it also can help you to optimize the performance of the campaign as well. And here you could utilize tactics like A/B testing, or you can continue to make sure that you monitor your campaign against the KPIs so that you really then help work towards getting your end goals in place. And basically it's just a real visual way to make brands through the connected package campaign just to be really consumer centric and to really be on the pulse of those that are buying and interacting with the package today. And the next tab that we wanted to show, and this is something that we think is really valuable for the future innovation of consumer engagement, is that basically it's this one-on-one feedback loop that can happen between brands and parties involved. So beyond just having engagement, beyond just having a little bit of fun of consumers, you can really try to have as many real-time polls or innovation questions as you want with consumers. And basically this would be a way for brands to continuously learn about their consumers' preferences. It can also help them build ideas for future products. So no more expensive consumer panels. This could be a way that you can ask those that are already buying your product today in a very cost-effective way, what do you want to see next from us? Do you want to see a moringa flavored milk? Do you want to see something with oats? What do you want us to do differently in terms of sustainability? These are all things that you can ask consumers directly and then really help to boost your future promotions in the end. And then just the last area, and again, this was kind of circling back to the point of you can have data, but you need to have the insights. And this is where we really try to work with our customers in gathering the so what of all this information, all this data that we've gathered. And here we really see the true added value of the data. So in each of our connected package projects, we offer a customer success manager, which basically is kind of expert advisors, both on the food and beverage, but also the digital engagement side, that can really analyze the data, help brands make the most of the information that's coming out, and maybe offer and suggest some areas that they can try to adjust the campaign in real time so that they can really optimize the campaign. So just a little flavor.
From our side, you know, it's just really understanding everything, as Susie said, so that we can really build up a better picture. And with that picture, of course, you have the ability to change your marketing messages, who you're speaking to, where you're speaking to, whether that be in real time or future marketing messages as well. So, you know, the data is a huge output from connected experiences.
And I think probably a key element that has meant working together with Appetite Creative is that, let's say, and together with our team, is that we have pre-thought on the most, if I may say, important, not to say typical, but important KPIs that we know for certainty that our customers will be interested in. So we have pre-work on this, let's say, dashboard or platform in which our customers will be able to, I don't know, save time, because it's almost like a plug and play. Of course, everything, and there's no point of making anything standard here. It's always about answering the challenges from the particular situation or strategy of a customer. But if you have some work done already, we know that this is very well appreciated because it saves times, resources, and it's a very open technology that we can put at availability of our customers as well. So just to put a touch on how we're working together.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you're right. It's all custom based on what consumers are doing, and obviously what do brands and clients want to learn about their consumers. But also, you know, as Susie said, everything's fully secure, everything's GDPR compliant, but we can even collect email addresses or phone numbers if consumers want to provide that data. And probably, again, that's where Appetite becomes quite useful, because we need to gauge what's the trade-off between customer experience and consumers wanting to give their data. So that value exchange has to be right as well. And again, we can help advise on that. So there's huge opportunities to be able to track specific things, specific data points, either general audience or more specific. But you've got to get that value exchange right. Otherwise, of course, it's going to fail.
And I also think that it's very important to have that ability to have that simple flow where you can follow what's happening. So if you've got the KPIs, then you can add that to the insight. It allows you to make some quite big decisions quite easily without having, I mean, you can also add the rest of the data to provide more comprehensive insights, but it gives you a very simple way of, from the very beginning, looking to see, you know, am I targeting the right audience? Am I reaching them in the right way? I guess the follow-up question from my side would be, how has the business been positively impacted by the connected packaging campaigns that you've been running?
If I may start, I think this is a key point, no? And here, as we are trying to bring these examples to all of you, there are different ways in which we have seen a positive impact, no? Especially in our customers, because you know that if our customers perform well, ultimately that it will, of course, benefit our joint business and our results. So Just to give you some examples that we have gone through is, I mean, for us is very important to see that customers, for instance, increase their repeat purchase intent, or that they really finally got a connection with a specific target audiences that they have never had, or that the time spent in the media channels has gone from a couple of seconds to a minute. This is something that it's, I would say, very, very strategic for those type of things, is where we see that our customers are benefiting, meaning that we're doing good with this type of products, no? Or you can increase your fan club. I remember cases in which they have been able to extend the number of fan clubs members into their baseline, so they can recurrently now engage throughout communication with them. So I think the benefit lies on the strategic or the important and relevant information that you can get from this technology. And of course, the other one is the growth in sales, which is normally whenever you do a promotional activity, or you engage in a certain promo activity, as I was saying, well, you normally experience a peak in sales, which is, of course, the most tangible benefit that we all see. But I think that the biggest part of the equation, it's also as important, and is in relation to the strategy, to the information that you get from this way of working. No?
Yeah, and I think that it's just also a little bit about the kind of continuous evolution and engagement with consumers as well. Imagine how valuable it is for you as a marketing manager or brand manager, if you're trying to determine where next to have the next promotion, or what type of tactics should you launch to have a new product on the market. And the data that you could gather from your campaigns can help you to continuously make and improve better decisions. And of course, better decisions hopefully should then translate into success of growth and everything going forward. So I think it's just this, again, kind of going back to this constantly on, always on situation that we are going to continue going into. If you're willing to jump in, to try it, to learn it, and to grow with it, then you can really have a lot of success of utilizing this platform.
Thank you. Sorry, I was stuck on mute for a second. I was going to say my follow-up question to that one was going to be, there's all these possibilities that you've been talking about, and it helps to answer some hugely important questions from the marketing, the product development, the commercialization sides. As you look ahead, how do you plan to use the technology in the future?
I would say that basically there are two big potentials, no? And is, let's say, and this is the way we are trying to deploy solutions according to these two areas, no? And the first one is engagement with consumers, that we have extensively discussed, and which is what we are now deploying actively in the market. So it's to give all of this opportunity of educational, entertainment, communication, etc., and very well-based information, let's say, platform. But I think the other one is related to the industrial application of these individual codes in, let's say, a smart manufacturing environment, no? That I was referring to at the beginning of our talk. And this is what we see as the second step of a journey, no? Which is really helping to connect the value chain, because this is something that it goes and that is happening even outside of our premises, no? It's something that the industry is connecting all across. But where we see is the value that packaging can play definitely a very important role in integrating this from end to end, no? And this is where we see we will increase even more than what we do today in terms of quality, productivity, food safety, And as of today, of course, the journey, it's very well programmed. We are already making pilots in the market to test the product solutions that we want to release. So just to give you an idea of where do we think that this second potential will happen, no? And probably a third one that is not really a potential as such from our side, I would say, but is more an external factor, is regulation. What do I mean with regulation? Is we see that in certain regions, and we have a very clear case of Russia, that, for example, is, let's say, the government is asking that traceability becomes basically a license to operate in some categories. So for the purpose of bringing traceability and transparency to consumers, this is becoming a standard. So we don't see why not other countries will adopt in the future these sort of things. So once again, the fact that we have integrated the codes all along this, it is a very good opportunity to bring value at the end for consumers and for the industry. So that it will be my three, let's say, points.
And I will go even a little bit further into the future and start to think of even intelligent packaging. So this is going beyond just a one-on-one connection. This could be where the packaging and devices could communicate, even smart devices. So this could provide a whole new level of services or insights for everyone. So just imagine that you're at home and you're preparing something and your cream inside your fridge starts to talk to each other and then reacts to your phone and tells you how much of the product you should use and what is going to go well together. And this is based on your previous preferences or your favorite recipes. This will really, bring the added level of automatic service to end consumers and save time and even reduce food waste and everything. And this is something that we think maybe still a little bit utopia, but thinking that it could be there for the future of everything being aligned on a smart system as well.
For us, I think it's brands having this as an always-on type opportunity. I mean, basically, your packaging is becoming another media channel. It's the same type of idea that you can control what was behind that QR code, and this is a digital world, so we can change that information really quickly. So the hard part is getting the QR code onto the packaging. Once that's done, we can change, just like you can change a website or a digital campaign, what that QR code delivers in terms of experience. So the same QR code could be on the packet all year, and we'd be able to deliver, Christmas themed campaigns at Christmas, Easter at Easter, and there's nothing else you need to do on the physical product itself, because that QR code is basically the gateway to the information and exchange, which means that basically in the same way that you think about planning your digital campaigns, you could be thinking about planning your packaging campaigns as well. It's the same digital ability to dynamically change whatever's there based on what's going on in the world.
Well, I guess the final question from my side would be, what would be your advice to both packaging and marketing industry and companies regarding connected packaging?
I think this is probably a great opportunity for all the packaging industry. Is really the moment for us to go beyond the food protection and sustainability, even to a further stage, no? As we saw in this example, just every industry is really changing the approach towards consumers, no? I don't know, imagine that we serve as a company, close to 200 billion consumption moments in a year. Imagine all the information that this can generate, all these touch points that we could generate beyond just the fact of a consumption as such. So for us in the industry, I think it's a very, very special moment to really help our industry to step into the future and accompany, the evolution of the food industry. That's how I personally see it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, I think for me, it's kind of just about really simply asking a few questions to really, understand what benefit it could potentially bring. So, what problem are you trying to solve? Is it about building interaction, knowledge exchange, personalization? And then how will you kind of activate and interact with consumers? So, like Juan said about these consumption moments, how is the connected package going to fit into this consumer journey? Are you going to use social media to inform people? Are you going to use the unpacked design to draw people's attention to the fact that there's something to interact with? You need to think about what type of information that you will transmit, and also the information that you want back in this kind of two-way feedback. And then also kind of thinking about the longer term benefits as well. Can it help you also explain sustainability? Can it help you to uncover other benefits throughout the value chain? So we just think that it's really about trying to structure these few questions, and that there's a lot of additional benefits in the years to come when it comes to connected packaging.
And I think it's about, understanding that in this, age where people are always connected, everyone's, with their digital phone at all times. I think somebody checks their phone more than 20 times in an hour or something ridiculous like that. So, I think it's important to think about those opportunities that digital really is presenting. Packaging is definitely a new area which is being missed at the moment, but it's an opportunity. And it's an owned asset like your website, but this owned asset is in your consumer's hand or in your consumer's house every single day. So it's a much better way, I would say, to deliver messaging. So it's definitely an opportunity to think about.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Juan. Thank you very much, Jenny, and thank you very much, Susie. This has been an incredibly enlightening and educational discussion on the kind of possibilities and kind of where we're at with connected packaging at the moment. I've been a little bit remiss to leave the questions that were coming through while you were speaking till now, because I thought it would hopefully be a bit easier to answer the questions once we'd finished with the presentation. And so I don't know if you have a preference for who would answer each question, but I will ask them, and then please feel free to answer between yourself, whoever feels that they would most like to do so. The first question I have is from Gracia Aldana, who's the advisor at the Stork. And the question is, looking at the different markets where Tetra Pak is present, are there regions that accept this type of packaging more than others? Is it a 2-minute on-page engagement time, or is a 2-minute on-page engagement time a success in some parts of the planet, but would be seen as a failure in others?
On the first part, I think probably I tried to touch upon this topic when I was describing the different situations that we find. No, it's I could say that depends, yes, on the region, depends, but also depends, yes, on the category, depends also on the brand strategy, and depends on many things. The difference between the adoption of this and the other. By the way, it's not a type of packaging, it's the same packaging, but including the technology of the unique code, just to make the point. But what I think it is all across happening is that this situation of the pandemic has kind of a balance this into a similar level because regardless of the consumption, the market, and the category, now customers or consumers, sorry, have been in a way obliged to start using the technology because there was no other way to ask for something in a restaurant or to engage with other. So this has enabled us to go to a similar level all across. So somehow this is more, let's say, balanced, no? In a way, in the period of time that would. The other one on the 2-minute page, I don't really get it. It's talking about engagement in the consumption, no? Okay.
I think the question is, does the engagement time apply to all countries, or would one country see 2 minutes engagement as better than another might do?
Probably Jenny. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that one.
Yeah, there has to be an understanding that some markets are further ahead than others. So, for example, in China, they use the QR code to make payments. It's so, you know, it's so widely accepted. So there's definitely got to be some alignment to the market and understanding the correct benchmarks to be going for. Obviously, you would expect China to have a lot more or a higher scan rate than a European country that obviously we have more QR code consumption, but not the same. So definitely it's important to look at those benchmarks and understand, you know, what you should be aiming for dependent on your market, but also aligning that back to your objective. If your objective is literally to collect email addresses to re-engage, then actually you wouldn't be looking at engagement time at all. You want people to come in, to leave their email address, and then potentially to leave or go and consume a video or something like that. So it's definitely always about looking at the benchmarks, looking at the objectives, and then finding out how to find the correct success KPIs for your campaign.
Thank you. The next question is from Vinu Matai, who's the owner at Go Consulting. So if engagement is through a customer device or through scanning a customer device, how can that barrier be reduced and how are you handling that?
I think from our side, it's a little bit what we mentioned before. It's all about education and adoption, of knowing that there is something to interact with and how to do it as well. And you know, we again, with our co-creating part and working with our brands on their digital strategy, we try to again look at the different touch points of trying to reduce this barrier. So using social media or using GIFs of, you know, showing someone with the phone scanning the package to interact. These are all small little tactics that could be delivered to try to encourage people to engage further. So you can think of even the on-pack design, you know, so even simple things, scan here or, you know, scan and win are all different calls to actions that can really help to reduce this barrier a little bit.
I guess that also leads into their follow-on question that they were saying, what's the best hook that you've experienced that helps with customer scanning? Is there a best hook, I guess, would be the other part of it.
With any type of digital marketing, obviously, you know, if you were to offer a large incentive, you're going to have more people engaged than not. If you're going to offer a Ferrari to every 10th person who scans, you're going to get quite a lot of people scanning, but potentially not that interested in your product or understanding what you're doing as well. We've run campaigns that have incentive, and we've run campaigns that don't have any incentive at all, and they both work well. Again, it comes back to the objectives. More likely no incentive at all, there's going to be something else that we're telling the consumer. So is it around education? Is it around sustainability? Is it something that we're educating the consumer on, a new brand, a new product, a new flavor? Or is it a more of a serious message where we're talking about, you know, how to recycle the product? It might be that it's a product where two pieces need to be taken apart. Is it where we're actually asking and delivering and educating that message? Well, that doesn't fit with and now you'll win a free whatever. So it again comes back to obviously what you're trying to tell the consumer, but as a general rule, you know, if you're offering huge price incentives, you're going to get more people engaging than not.
Yeah, but also fitting it with your brand strategy. You know, if you're a serious brand, you know, probably not best to do an augmented reality lens with something stupid on your face, you know. So I think it's again really trying to match who you are and how you want to communicate to consumers, and that should be the incentive, also as a good hook for them to interact with you.
Thank you. There's a question from Elisa Pleska, who's a content creator at Coastgrass. She's saying it was briefly mentioned that connected packaging can be connected towards sustainability. Could you provide an example of how Tetrapak or how Tetra Pak's use of connected packaging can create an environmental impact?
Yeah, so this could be a number of different ways. It can be, you know, the information exchange. So where recycling points are, how best to flatten the package. It can be through the use of a quiz to test what consumers know today about the sustainability elements. So there's a number of different ways, again, that we ourselves are always trying to learn and adopt and understand how best to apply these consumer engagement hooks as well, and tying it to something which is very core to us, which is sustainability and environmental impact. So we've experimented with a few different tactics and things, and looking at quizzes and engaging in a fun, informational way as well. But then also encouraging that further information can be exchanged through our customers when it comes to sustainability as well.
And I'd imagine also that one of the byproducts of the use and application of the data, the KPIs, the information that you've got is that you will just naturally reduce waste because you're developing things that are wanted by people. You know where to send them, how to make them, what flavors to use, etc. So it would also help just from a kind of a general reduction of manufacturing footprint as well, because you're not having to guess and prototype and try again and kind of go back to the drawing board. You can just immediately start to develop the product and put it into the right market. The next question we've got is from Nikolai Fox in 2B Tube. And so saying from a business perspective, what are the biggest challenges that Tetra Pak faces when dealing with different markets, such as Central Asia or Europe?
Well, I think basically the just the example that I gave on the regulation from Russia, let's say, totally changed the situation on these markets, no? And just to give you an example, this is something that is becoming a standard to operate, and we all know Russia size is relatively important, so it's providing a lot of let's say a massive deployment of the codes, and they will start to happen from I think end of this year, but now all the industry is starting to engage on this journey. I think that the question is more on the consumer's point of view, perhaps. And well, not to repeat myself, I think basically we have increased significantly the interest, not only due to this regulation visibility, because there's been a huge campaign around the usage and the objective around this code, but also the situation in which this has been. That's why I was trying to say that we have been like kind of a balance. So I think that we are more even compared to some years ago. but this is how we look, basically Central Asia and countries.
Thank you. I've got a question from Nikita Sorensen, who's an advisor at Literally Box, which you had touched upon earlier, but what was the biggest challenge you faced when you launched the connected packaging campaign with Appetite Creative?
Well, if I may say, for me, the challenge is that we needed to build everything from scratch. So it really required, and let's say we were relatively new between the partnership among Appetite Creative and us. So we were only half working few things. But when we decided to go together with them in this journey, well, we had to build the entire value proposition from scratch, understanding that, going to the market and try to see if what we were thinking was really on track and in line with the probable expectations from the market. And I'm just very proud of where we have gone and came out with. So the challenge basically is that we needed to do from zero. But I think it was very interesting exercise for both organizations, and looking forward to continue deploying this.
Yeah, it's been a great relationship, and I think it's just a lot of also learning and adopting and, you know, finding out what is the best fit, both in terms of kind of leveraging food and beverage knowledge, but also how to engage with consumers, and then again also then trying to find that translation of value for our customers and our brands that we work with. So what's going to help support their decisions? How can we use the real-time data in the best way? So yeah, it's a very open relationship, but a lot of learning on both sides, definitely.
Yeah, it's 4 years ago since we've launched our first campaign, so there's been quite a few changes and amends and tweaks along the way. But yeah, it's about being able to understand, as Susie said, the client objective, and then being able to ensure that we're delivering the best results along all of those different KPIs and objectives.
Thank you. The next question is from Vika Apich, asking, okay, first of all saying thank you very much for the presentation, it's been very inspiring. And then the question is, what I'm wondering is how you handle bias. And what I mean is, I'm not sure that the group reacting to this activities mirrors your customer group. It could be that your key customers are 60+ males, but the few young ones who see it are the ones that react. Do you have something that is set up to cross-check or protect from this?
So there's some different points I want to throw into the mix there. The first one being, the largest consumer group of tablets is 55+-year-olds. I don't know if that's male or female. I'm sure the data set knows, but I haven't remembered that. And you can access this from your tablet. And we have done campaigns which have been very much around focusing on that older age group as well. So, for example, not with Tetrapak, but through other connected packaging, we did do a quiz which was around financial planning in your later years, and we had a great response rate. So, of course, I'm not trying to say that you're going to necessarily always get the older age groups engaging, but I think there is a misconception that the 50-year-olds or 55+, 60-year-olds don't know how to use smartphones or tablets. And actually that's massively changed over the years. So there is a large group of, tablet users, which is nearly half, being that older age range. And of course, again, knowing who your audience is means that you can create content which is relevant. We're not likely to make an AR game smashing tomatoes or something for that age group. They're probably more interested in other things. Again, is it the sustainability message? Is it more around what the brand stands for? And if you can understand who that audience group is, then obviously tailor those messages as well. But it's not only the young people who get involved.
Excellent. And I guess I can also add from our side that when we do, it's a bit circular when you use the data to inform the campaign to then kind of cross-check it afterwards. So there's an element in that process, which means that you can reduce to a very manageable number that bias, because if I know who I'm sending the information to in the first place by age or location, etc., I can at least make sure that the people who I want to answer the question are the ones being asked. Obviously, I can't control whether they answer it or how they engage with it, but hopefully that means that you can reduce asking kind of everybody and then hoping that all people equally answer the question by just making sure that the audience itself is relatively targeted by being an age group or a location or something that would help reduce that bias. That has brought us to the end of the questions so far. I think I haven't seen any more come through in the last couple of minutes, so I believe that is nearly the end of our time with each other. What I would say is, if there are any follow-up questions, if anybody did want to have any kind of follow-up from this presentation now, and they wanted to ask either Juan or Susie or Jenny anything about this presentation today, this will go online. It will be available to download and watch for the next 30 days. And if you do have any specific questions, if you send them through to us or to the platform, it will make its way through to our presenters today, and they will be able to speak to you kind of offline or in real life, as it were. Which leads me to close off the presentation by once again thanking Juan, Susie, and Jenny for a really fascinating conversation and a lot of really helpful and useful information about where we are with connected packaging, what Tetra Pak's experience has been of it, and the very bright future that it holds for both for the company and for all of us as consumers and members of the industry. So thank you very much, guys. That's it from me.
Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot for the invitation. Bye-bye.